If you feel busy in your business, but nothing is actually moving, this episode might sting a little, but hopefully in a good way. Because one of the biggest reasons new coaches feel stuck is because they're consuming way more than they're creating. And it feels productive. I get it. That's the tricky part. I've noticed that most new coaches are spending about 80% of their time consuming and about 20% of their time creating. And I get it, there's so much to consume: podcasts, YouTube, courses, membership, saved Instagram posts that you swear you'll come back to. And I also get why we do this. When you're new, you actually do need to learn. You don't magically know how to set up a lead magnet or an email service provider or a welcome sequence. Of course, you're going to watch videos and listen to shows. That part is normal. What's not helping is when learning turns into the main thing you do, because consuming feels like progress. Your brain is engaged, you're nodding along, and it's so fun to learn new things. You feel inspired. It scratches that itch of, I'm working on my business without requiring any risk. But nothing actually changes until you create something. But it can be a subtle trap. Here's what's happening slowly. You tell yourself you just need a little bit more understanding, a little bit more clarity. So you watch one more video, one more explanation, one more framework, and then weeks pass, and then months pass. And you're still telling people that you're working on your business, although clients aren't coming in and money's not coming in. And we do this not because we're lazy, and it's not because we're incapable, but because consuming is safe and creating is vulnerable. Creation requires decisions. Creation requires being seen. Creation requires you to put something out there that isn't perfect. So we delay it. The shift that actually moves businesses forward is flipping the ratio. Eventually, you want to be creating 80% of the time and consuming about 20% of the time. That doesn't mean that you stop learning. It means that learning has a job. One of the simplest rules I teach is this: when you consume, you set a finish line. 3 YouTube videos on lead magnets, 1 podcast episode on email sequences, 1 short training, then you stop and you build something with what you've learned. Because after a few pieces of content, you know enough to start. Not perfectly, but enough. And starting beats waiting every single time. And there's a lot of research around this, but you don't need to study it to feel it. Confidence doesn't come from watching other people do the thing. It comes from doing the thing yourself. Your brain actually learns faster when you apply information instead of just absorbing it. Action creates clarity, and action creates momentum. Watching creates ideas. Doing creates progress. Now let's talk for a moment about courses and memberships. It's incredibly easy to get stuck buying more courses, more memberships, and more programs. And I want to be very upfront about something. I have a membership. I have a program. I sell them. And yes, I would love for you to join them. I believe in what I teach. But here's also the truth. As marketers, we're very good at marketing to you. We understand your pain points. We know how to name the frustration you're already feeling. We know how to show you the gap between where you are and where you want to be. That's not manipulation. That's just good marketing. And I've taken so many courses over the years. Truly, I don't think I've ever taken one that didn't help me in some way. Courses are helpful. Programs are helpful. Memberships are helpful. I genuinely believe that if you join my program, you will move forward in your business. I also believe that if you join the next coach's program you see online, it will help you too. But here's the part that matters. Help only turns into progress when there's limits. If you're constantly buying and constantly consuming and never actually applying, something really discouraging happens. You start to feel behind. You start to feel overwhelmed. You start to think maybe everyone else gets this and you don't. And then you quit. That's when people quit. And it's not because they weren't capable, and it's not because coaching doesn't work, but because they were drowning in information and starving for implementation. So I want to share with you how I personally handle this. Every year, I decide how much I'm going to invest in my business. That includes coaching, education, and programs. And I want to be really clear that coaches are incredibly important. I always have at least one business coach. Most of the time, I have more than one because I know the value of having someone who can see my blind spots, someone who can help me move through mindset stuff I can't think my way out of, someone who can look at my business and say, here's what's actually happening. I did not move forward in my first business until I hired a business coach. That was the turning point, and since then, I've always had one. I believe in them so much. So yes, I absolutely believe you should have a business coach. 100%. It's one of the best investments you can make. And yes, I would love to be that coach for you. And yes, there are other amazing coaches who could help you too. But here's what you don't need. You don't need a business coach, a YouTube coach, an Instagram coach, a funnel coach, a mindset coach, and 3 memberships all at the same time. You don't need to spend $20,000 a year on courses to make progress. What you need is the right help at the right time and the discipline to use it. And where most people get distracted is they look around and they think, she has a podcast, he posts 3 times a day, everyone is growing faster. So they copy activity instead of building structure. If you don't have a lead magnet, your business doesn't need more reach right now. Because when someone loves your content and wants more, where do they go? If there's nowhere to collect their email address and nowhere to nurture them, that attention disappears. I'm not saying stop posting. I'm not saying to stop listening to podcasts. I'm saying do what your business needs next. Here's what I want you to do this week. Pick one thing your business actually needs. One, not 5, not a full rebrand, just one thing. And set a boundary on learning, then build. Messy is allowed, progress is the goal. You don't need more information, you need more implementation. You're not behind, but you do need to get to work. You do need to take some action. I would love to be the coach that helps you. You can find my information in the show notes, and you can subscribe and follow the show to get more help. But above all, start creating more. Start today. All right, my friend, go build a life and a business that you love, one step at a time and one day at a time. Let's talk soon.